Tell them run it up.
What is going on? What is going on, everybody in the house? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now.
Check.
No drip, this
Wet.
Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no
Rest.
Might crash, might
Wreck.
but first I
Stretch.
Tell 'em run it up. I wake up,
Flex.
thumb down now.
Check.
No drip, this
Wet.
Tell 'em run it up. I wake up,
Flex.
thumb down now.
Check.
No drip, this
Wet.
Tell 'em run it up.
What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland. It is the official last Saturday. I'm so into DJ mode for the weekend. The last official Thursday of the year, because next year we will be in 2023, if you can actually believe that, which is just crazy to me. This year has just honestly just flown. It's probably the fastest year I've lived through. If time weren't, a relative thing. But it honestly feels like the fastest year. And it makes kind of sense because, we, as DJs, let me just save this real quick. As DJs, we literally went from all the time in the world to just craziness. So I'm excited to be going into a new year. The year looks good so far. Life is good so far. So unless some stuff goes down, we should be heading into a good year. Out of curiosity, let me know in the chat what your bookings are like so far moving into this new year. I'm curious. Let me know in the chat. What's going on? Official Raprod. I'll get that right sooner or later. Ruben, that's one of my members. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out today. Chico Belly, Steak Farm Jake, Black Classic, Squad, and what do we got here? DJ Double. What else we got in here? Let me get rid of some of these boxes because they're in my way. Starting to be a this was a late start for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had to go to an event last night. It was this nightclub called Cherry Poppin' Wednesdays. If you're out of LA and you're into anything that's good times and just soulful people, Cherry Poppin' is a great venue. It was at the Room in Hollywood. I'm gonna turn my fan on. I'm feeling the breeze. It was at the Room in Hollywood, and it's been there for the last 13 years. Well, officially, this was the last party of forever. It's closing down. Good times, a little bit of sad times, but it is what it is. We move on. It was packed in there. Here's the funny thing about it. First off, they were charging. Now, they always charge to get into the room, but normally it was like, $5, maybe $10. It was never supposed to be about the money. I walked up yesterday and they wanted $20. Understandable. Last night of the year. Here's the thing. It was packed in there. Literally packed. And I couldn't even stay the entire time because it was just too much. Like you couldn't move. You couldn't just turn around. It was that bad in there. But here's the thing about what you experience. Everybody's there. It's the last one forever. They're all there having a great time. And the only thing I can think of is that this didn't have to be the last night. Didn't have to be the last party. Because had the people that were supposedly supporting this club, for decades, had they shown up once, twice a month, the club probably wouldn't be closing down. So it's this weird conundrum. Like, you want a successful last night, but ultimately you wanted it to be successful, period. You know what I mean? So it was kind of weird, bittersweet. I believe the word that people would use, bittersweet. But it was a good time. Got to see my guy DJ Rel. He's such a great DJ. He's such a great DJ. When there's just certain people that are just good at things. Like whatever discipline it is. Some people just like get it naturally. And then there are others that need to work at it. I'm one of those. I'm in the middle point. Like, musically, that's my strength. But I have to work, to keep up my levels. He's one of those natural DJs that just, I don't know, everything just kind of clicks for him. And he can start a party from 0 to 100 in like 2 songs. Like, he's one of those guys. And I'm not talking about like, oh, your wedding or your bar mitzvah. I'm talking about any single event he's ever done. He's one of those guys. Nightclub, he just gets up there and just automatically brings up the energy. I'm not that guy. Mine takes a little while, but he can literally just start and he just knows. It's just very, very interesting because he is like naturally talented, but he works at it. And that's the difference. That's the difference between what he does and what a lot of other people do. There's a lot of talented people out there that don't put in the work, and he puts in the work. It's really, really impressive. Like, it's rare that after a club, whatever it is, it's rare that I'll go home and want to get on my decks. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you know how good a person is. Do they make you want to do the same thing after you've been somewhere for hours? Could be 3 a.m. You're like, I need to get on the tables. I need to practice. It's rare that happens to me, but he's one of those guys. He works for me. It works for me, works with me. He's a part of the team. So it was very impressive. And there was 3 other DJs on there. No other DJ sounded like him. And they were all good DJs. All good DJs. So anyway, I think it's important to understand, I guess, what I'm getting at when I come around in a full circle. It's important to understand who you are and where you are in your progression as a DJ. It's important to understand that, like, you're constantly learning. You're constantly evolving. You're constantly criticizing yourself. There's a lot of DJs out there that just think that I do that. Oh, what? Put me on the tables. I can do exactly that. No, you can't. No, you can't. But you want to believe it. I'm of the other mind. I'm the guy that's like, I know what level I'm at. I know that I'm in a certain way. I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of, but I also know my weaknesses. And if you can figure out what your weaknesses are and your strengths, it's going to make you a better anything. DJ, mechanic, doctor, policeman. You just have to be critical of yourself. So I like watching great people do great things, because ultimately That's the bar that I always want to be at. And sometimes you're not. Sometimes you see somebody and you're just like, he's just better than me. And that's okay. There's too many people out there that are like, he's better than me. I hate him. He's better than me. He sucks. Let me find something bad about him. There's too many people out there. What you should be doing is going, he's better than me. How do I get there? He's better than me. I want him to help me. He's better than me. Hey, everybody, look at this guy. He's really good. Not he's better than me. I'm going to try to take him down. I'm not going to tell anybody about him because I'm scared that he's going to take all of my gigs, all of my jobs. He works for me. And I'm sitting there going, please be that good. Be amazing. Because that means I don't have to spend the rest of my life having to work every party because people are like, if you're not going to be here, we don't want you because we know how good you are and we don't know what else you got. I'd rather be like, oh, you know what? I'm good. He's better. Then I can take a day off. Got to be smarter than this. There's too many egos in what we do. There's too many egos in all business. Like, it's okay. Let somebody shine. It's only going to make you look better. When they're just like, oh, hey, I saw your team at a party. I saw your team at a bar mitzvah. They were amazing. I'm not going to get on the phone and be like, well, if you like them, you're definitely going to like me. Why would I do that? I'm going to be like, yep, they're really, really good. I'll send them to your next event. We just have to be smarter than this. Just smarter. Anyway, who do we have in the building here? KJ Terry, Ernesto is that Eviles? Marcus Franklin asked me if I'm going to be at the DJ Expo in February. I am. So far anyway, I've already registered. So I'll be there. DJ Double G, DJ Unique, Latin House Mafia in the building, Blue Silver, Charles Smith. So many people. Thanks for hanging out today. Thanks for hanging out. Mac Joseph in the building too. Okay, let's see what we got here under some questions. Obviously, sorry, forgot about Guto. And I've already said official Rap Rod. Brock Belts. And of course, Ruben. Ruben's one of my YouTube members. So if you ever wanted to support me, the easiest way to support me, the easiest is to one thing. Make sure you're subscribed, obviously. Make sure you follow me on my Instagram, which is Cleveland Terry with an underscore. I'm at like 40 followers from 10K. So if you can help me out on IG, that would be absolutely amazing. So please, I'd like to get to 10G before New Year's. We got 3 days. I got 40 people to go. That should be an easy thing if I had boobs and, shook my ass. But it's not, as a grown ass man. So please support if you can. Also, those are the free ways. If you really want to support me financially and become a member, it's like $4 or $5 a month. It's, a cup of coffee, but you support me. It allows me to keep doing what I do here. The Thursday Tech Thursdays, continue to make content, all that stuff. It just supports me and shows that you actually appreciate what I do. So there's a little subscribe button, a little subscribe membership button right at the bottom of this window here. Take care. And there's also super chat. Super chat. You can just say a little love. Anyway, those are the ways to support me. So we don't do that. We go to questions. So if you have any questions, make sure you put the hashtag ask right in front, and I'll be able to answer it, hopefully, if I can. I don't know everything, but sometimes I do. So anyway, love from Switzerland. Thank you for hanging out today. Okay, let's take a look at some of the questions, because I know there's been a couple so far. Where are you? Elemental in the building also. Thanks for hanging out today. All right. So it looks like everybody's saying 23 looks to be the best year ever. I can believe it. I will say last year was our best year, bookings and financially. This year we are really booked pretty much for the entire year so far. Like if I never got another booking, I'd be okay. But we're still pushing out. There's still people booking us left and right. So I am very, very happy about that. I have only experienced one person who got mad at me for the pricing that we operate at as far as booking, which has been great because obviously that's probably your one of the biggest fears when you're trying to increase your rates, and you start getting pushback. And when are your rates too high? That's not an answer that I can give any one person. But I will say this. I think if half or more of the people are complaining about your prices, then maybe you're too expensive. But if you get, one or two every 30 calls saying, oh, well, this guy over here is, cheaper, or he offers this or whatever, different story. If that's the case, then they're just not in your price bracket anymore. And that's okay. Don't get me wrong. I never like turning people away, but you got to turn people away sometimes, just to keep people understanding that your prices are your prices. So, because sometimes people will almost make you feel like you've done something wrong. But your business is your business, and nobody can tell you how to run your business. So, but nobody can tell you what the right way to run your business is. And if it works for you, then that's all that matters. I mean, ultimately, they're your choices. But when I have somebody that's like, oh, well, this person is this, and I don't understand why I can't do this and I can't do that, and all I can do is sit there and say, that's the way we work. You have to be confident in what you're doing, so you can walk away from it, because walking away from any money is always hard. Always. Brockbelt says, just sold our wedding venue. So first year I've started booking for myself. I'd say 20 bookings so far. That's amazing. We are still in the process of trying to find a venue. That's our next big leap. It's just, LA is LA. I'm not doubting the fact that once it opens up, it's going to do gangbusters, but you got to get to that point. Okay. All right, let's take a look here. Mark the Military Guy. What is going on? Jose Jerez, all the way from Riverside. Okay. Let's drop down so I can stay on point, because that's usually when screw-ups happen. All right. DJ Blue Silver says, he's better than me. I need to practice and play the same set over and over again until it becomes easier and I become better. Repetition and practice makes you better. Yeah. I think what happens is, I think for most people, I think some people struggle with this. I'm a freestyle first kind of guy before routines. I can do routines, that's fine. But in general, you never really know if your routine that you've made ahead of time is going to work on the event that you're doing. Now, there are two different styles of routines. There is the showcase DJ who can make an amazing routine and people are just there to watch them anyway. So it doesn't matter. There's those guys. Then there's the other guys who are actually DJing for clubs, for parties, and you have to deviate. You're going to have to shift, I've never done a routine ever. I've never created any playlist where I went from 1 to 30 and didn't have to change something in between. Like I always start off with like the first, I don't know, 5 to 10 songs. Always. I start off with that. I do this for a couple of reasons. One, it kind of kills the nerves of ever getting on and performing live for anyone. And two, it gets your brain moving, because when you first start DJing, a lot of times, like, you're not really in the right mindset. Maybe the dude before you was great and now you're all jacked up. So you need a way to kind of like, okay, I'm starting here, and then I can kind of read the crowd and make adjustments. So I always start off with like 5 to 10 songs that are just money down the line. But after that, I will start to freestyle, once I get truly comfortable. So I think you definitely need to practice, especially for your hands, because that's the one thing you might be able to like program like nobody's business, but your hands will start to degrade over time. So you do need to you need to put in the work. You need to put in the work. And after you get to a certain point, then your programming, your practice, everything becomes freestyle. If that makes any sense. Because the more you do something, the easier it is to kind of refer to it later on. And that's what'll be the difference. Because like for me, I have hundreds of set list and routines that I've done over the years that never go away. So a lot of times when people are like, oh wow, he's just freestyling. Like, not really. Because I've done these things so many times, I know the things that work. So it's, even though it is freestyling, it's not really freestyling. It's almost like it's been ingrained in me because of the repetition. So it's a combination. Okay. Soul Bra Harmony. It's really taking notes. Take notes. That's what this is for. That's what this show is for. And that's why I go out. I don't go out too often. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't go out too often. Just because it's not really my thing. But when I do, I go out only specifically to hear other DJs, to see how I stack up. You get it? But not as an ego, as a constructive criticism of myself. Like, where are these people? Especially if they are considered to be good, great, amazing, because then you can kind of go from there. But the funny thing is, like, my guy is really, really good, but he ain't stupid. He knows when people are watching him. He knows the level that he needs to operate at to still be considered an amazing DJ. He works at it. He works at it probably more than most people that aren't as good as him, because he wants to stay great. And that's the difference between somebody great and somebody that's just okay. That's the difference between Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. These people were naturally gifted, and they took that gift and they put the work in and made themselves basically into, physical gods. Not everybody wants to do the work. All right. Brock Betts in the building. DJ Wiz Kid. We got Swift, Mike Feliciano, DJ Mac Attack. East Coast hip hop mentality. There can only be one at the top, which is funny to me because my guy is from New York. And he's not like that. Okay. If you twerk. WizKid, thank you so much for the subscriptions. Appreciate you. Maybe show your feet. Maybe. Okay. What is this? I can't pronounce his name. I think it's Etienne. Says, enjoy the moment, everyone. Spend like there's no tomorrow whenever you have the chance. Happy New Year. Agreed. Definitely agree. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Mac Joseph says, let's love each other more and create more business to help ourselves. I mean, that's the key here. That's the key, right? I think, look, competition is good. And I think this is a parental thing that we put into place to screw our children, because we will be the first to question, oh, you did a good job, but Joey over there is absolutely amazing. Why can't you be more like Joey? No, you need to want to be at the top. You need to want to be the best. We tell all our kids this. They get second place. Why'd you get second place? Why didn't you get first place? If you had just done this, it'd be first. And then we get out into the real world and we think that we just have to be the best every time. Meanwhile, you're losing out on relationships and true friendship building and true growth across the board, because everything about what you do is a competition. Sorry, DJ Wiz. My bad. Sorry. DJ Wiz from Kid and Play. My bad. You guys still touring? Out there? Is there still a market for Kid and Play work? Let me know. Okay. Let me get back before I lose some comments here. All right. Here we go. Guto asks, and with a nice super chat, and I want to say thank you for that super chat. Any new news about new motorized controllers on the horizon? No. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say two things. One, there's absolutely no news about any motorized controllers. I have not seen anything. Two, even if I did see anything, I really couldn't say anything because, I'm on NDAs with every major company out there. But I have not seen anything on the horizon. There are controllers, there are things coming out, but I haven't seen any motorized controllers. They're gonna come. Obviously, we need a Rain 2. Rev 7, it's virtually brand new, so I think it's fine. I don't think we're gonna see like a 4-channel Rev, I don't know, 14. If I just don't know. Look, the thing I will say about this is for the most part, all these companies understand that there is limitations to what they can do. And what I mean by that is that even if a lot of you guys out there want the perfect controller, I want it to be 4 channels and 10-inch platters and this and this and that, they start doing the math. And then the math says, well, a 4-channel 10-inch platter controller is going to be 45 pounds, 50 pounds. It's going to be super large. And then they start saying, how many people are actually going to buy this knowing what this is? Because it's all about the numbers, guys. It's all about the numbers. And I don't care if, 50 of you say, oh my God, if I had that, I'm going to buy it. Well, you might, and you might be the only 50 people that buy it. Meanwhile, there's, tens of thousands of people that are like, that thing is too big for me. Too big for me. It's too heavy for me. So they got to work the numbers, and it has to make sense. Of course, I'm sure that we'll see some sort of, over the top thing that sometimes they don't ever have an intention of really selling. You know, it's kind of like when you go to the car show and there's some amazing car and you're like, oh my God, I'd love to have that. And they're like, we're never going to make this car. This car costs too much money to make per unit. And we'd have to charge X amount of dollars. Nobody's going to buy this unit. You know, but it's nice to see. We're going to use some of the tech that's in here, put it into something else, or we're going to charge so much for it that we know we're only going to be able to sell X amount. But as long as we break even or make a slight profit, we're fine. Most businesses are not in the breaking even thing. Okay. So even if they break even on this super high luxury item, it's more about just keeping your name out there. The money part comes from all their lower end stuff. Not even their lower end, but they're things that aren't this luxury item. You know, they're going to make money on those units. And that's the difference. I'm going to turn my fan on real quick. So sit tight for half a second while I do that.
This is a journey into sound. This is a journey. This is a journey into sound. Sound.
Okay. We are back. Let's see what we got here. DJ Gaines Bond says, rates are too high when bookings slow down. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But again, there is a happy medium. There is a balance that you need to create, because sometimes your rates might be high and you lose the initial bookings, right? But you keep enduring and you don't make a knee-jerk reaction when people complain. You get what I'm saying? So you raise your rates, people are like, oh, it's too high. And you're like, oh my God, you're right. I'm going to bring them back down for you. All that tells people is that you don't really feel confident in your abilities and what you can do. That's all it does. Because then what happens is you give that person a deal. They tell their friends call you, and they want the same deal that you gave their friend. And then you put yourself into a position where you can't get out of it. Or you keep your prices high. You get some pushback. The parties that you already have on the books that maybe paid a less amount, you just kill those parties. And then when people call you, they're like, oh, you raised your rates. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the business, and, our demand is what our demand is. So we had to raise our rates to separate. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then people start to realize, well, the reason that they charge what they charge is because they're the best out there, So we are going to pay that because we want that. Now, again, one of the things that you have to realize, don't raise your rates if you can't keep a certain level of quality. If you can't make sure that you can guarantee that, like say you're a multi-op, usually it doesn't happen to single ops as much because it's one man, and that one man is the one that is typically getting requested. So there's no issue. But if you're a multi-op, you need to make sure that the price that you charge across the board matches the quality that people come to expect. That's really, really important. So we are always, spending money to make sure that our quality is where it should be, because that's what will screw you in the long run. you charging all this money, and people are like, well, they charge all this money and they're not even that good. Like, that's the worst thing you want, you know? So, the quality has to be there. Okay. Mac Joseph says, gotta love motorized platters, but we need good music and better mixes to get the ladies moving. Okay. So never want to hit my microphone because it screws everything up. Okay. Let's talk about this real quick, and not specifically to Mac Joseph, but this is a general thing that I've seen. And because I posted a Instagram reel recently, and the reel basically was from a clip from this show where somebody asked about the need to have better computers for STEMs. So I kind of broke it down real quick, and I'm like, no, we don't need Serato or Virtual DJ to have to like cater to the super low end market just so they can have STEMs. What we need are better computers. We need to make sure that, you know, we're progressing towards something, a common goal, that we're progressing towards having the best possible scenario. And I did this video, or this reel, again, only talking about computers and software. I can't tell you how many people jumped on it like, well, it's not about that. It's about the music. It's about spinning the right stuff. And, or, you know, we've survived this long on our limitations, so we don't really need to have these things. So here's my take. I didn't say anything in the comments because I felt like it would have been too long of a post. And also words can be misinterpreted. So this will be my take on the video reel, which I probably will repost. First off, never did I ever say that the computer that you use defines who you are as a DJ. Never did I say that having a high-powered computer is going to make you a better DJ. I never said that because I don't believe that. What I was talking about was specifically needing a better computer to do a lot of the things that these new software applications are doing for you. That's all. I was only talking about that. But people internalized it and made it about them. You know, made it about how they feel about that. And I understand what people are saying. I understand where people are saying, we didn't need these high powered things when we were younger, and when we worked off our limitations because our limitations made us better. It forced us to think outside the box and get better as a whole. I agree 100% with that. But I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about just the fact that we cannot go backwards. We have to move forward. And I'm only talking about technology. None of the stuff you use is going to make you a better DJ. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to have nice things. That doesn't mean that I want somebody to tell me, well, we'd love to do that, but we can't do that because the computers aren't powerful enough and we have to operate at a minimum line. So we're not going to do it. I don't want that. It reminds me of the time when I was at a DJ school and I was trying to just try to get better at scratching. So I went to a scratch class. I'm not going to name the name, but I went there and it was a group learning. Amazing DJs were teaching us, and we started to learn, and I'm like, sweet, okay, great. This is what I wanted. It's like, I don't know, 4 or 6 weeks of classes, and about a week or two in, and we're all, learning the basics because I got to teach you the basics before you move on. And then we got to a point where I'm like, okay, I got the basics. I know the basics. Okay, I got this scratch. I know this scratch. We got to a point where, because it was a group learning, they didn't want to push on until everybody in the group was able to do what everybody was able to do. So the weakest person in the group, we had to stay and wait for. problem with that is people like me that weren't the weakest in the group, that wanted to continue to push on, that wanted to get better, we couldn't because they kept keeping us back. And that was very, very frustrating to me because it stopped my ability to learn. You know, it stopped my growth because I was waiting on other people. Your computer, the software that they build, whatever ideas they have, should not be stopped because the weakest link can't keep up. That's what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about your abilities. I'm not talking about what you work off of. Many of us have gone places and started to, you get to a club, you get to an event, and the gear is busted or whatever, or something's not working, and you have to improvise. I DJ'd last week, and one of the needles was jacked, so we had to do instant doubles. Sometimes I've even had to go completely internal. That won't change because you have a better computer, but it will allow you to do a lot of things that right now we can't do. Stems is a perfect example. Stems, you want the best possible sound coming out of your computer. You know what I mean? So when Stems 1.0 came out, for Virtual DJ and for Algorithm DJ, they were okay, but they weren't amazing. And certain things just sounded like trash. There was more trash sound than there was good sound. Then Serato came out with theirs, and then Virtual DJ came out with their 2.0. Both sound night and day better. Night and day better. Are we going to say, oh, it requires more, so let's not use the better sound? Like, it just seems silly to me to think that way. We got to get out of our own heads here. And I totally respect, because like my guy, Rob Swift, he's an advocate for DJs, getting paid what they're worth, learning and improving themselves and working off of what they have and using the foundations of, the elements of hip hop to grow. Totally respect that. He's about the culture. So am I. However, I'm also about the growth of technology because I'm a nerd. So I'm on both sides. I'm like, I got my foot in history, but I also have my foot in the future. And I think you need both. I think you need both to grow. So anyway, okay. But I respect my people and I respect everybody's opinion on it. I do. But I've been seeing posts lately where people are taking Rob Swift's position on it, and there's nothing wrong with his position. His position is correct, except for the fact that I wasn't talking about what his position is. You get what I'm saying? So people sometimes can take your stuff and make it more of a thing when it never started out being a thing. It was just a statement about technology. Okay. Sam Parmley said that's why I only have one price. Okay. All right. Victor says, do you think we are on the verge again of another technology shift? Just a random thought, like vinyl to CDs, MP3 tables to CDs, to controllers. Well, I mean, I think we're always on the verge. It's just a matter of timing. Obviously, I think streaming is the future. No matter how much people say it's not, streaming is the future. Because we're doing it right now. We really are. Every song you buy from Amazon, from iTunes, Apple Music, every video you buy, there's never a guarantee that stuff's going to be around. You might have a physical copy of it, but what if that hard drive crashes and then you go to re-download that song, that video, that movie, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we no longer have access to this, or that streaming service died. So I think I think we are always moving forward. But I think ultimately that's going to be it. You know, all these new DJs that are coming around are going to dictate how we are later on. And a lot of these new DJs, a lot of them. So I went to MIT. I went to MIT when I went to Harvest of Sound, and I spoke at Philip Tan's. He's a DJ also, so he's got a lot of DJs that are that either learn from him or respect him or whatever. As a matter of fact, he's going to teach a DJ course next semester, which is so cool, so cool. Hope I can go back and talk about it. But he has. So I went and spoke to these people, to these kids, and here's the funny thing about it. I asked them, what DJ? I asked them, what software are you using? What's your software of choice? And guess what they said? Put it in the chat. Guess what they said? I wish I could mark this so I could go back, but I got that. Okay, because I'm way behind here. But guess what they said? And while you guys are typing, because I know there's a little bit of a delay, I'm going to tell you, the majority of people, the majority of kids said they use Algorithm DJ. The majority. Nobody used Serato. None of the new people used Serato. There was mostly Virtual DJ. And if it wasn't Virtual DJ, it was Rekordbox. Did I just say Virtual DJ? Let me back up because I'm going to cut this out. It was mostly Algorithm DJ. And if it wasn't Algorithm DJ, it was Rekordbox. Nobody used Serato. Now, why is that? Because kids use what's in front of them. They use what's in front of them, which would mean they use their phones, they use their iPads, and then probably lastly, they use their computers. The future is looking us in the face, and a lot of us don't want to acknowledge it. Algorithm DJs playing a long game. They're playing the long game. Long game says, get them in early, get them in while they're young, and sooner or later, as they grow, they will start to use our other products. They will start to move forward. Smart, it's very, very smart. Most companies out there should be doing this. You know, I know there's a Rekordbox phone app coming, which is great, but it's weird to me at this point that Virtual DJ doesn't have like a true mobile app. It's weird to me. I would think that out of all the people that are quick to like jump on bandwagons or see a technology or see something, Virtual DJ is that company. It's very, very strange to me. But Algorithm DJ makes an amazing program. Now, Algorithm DJ's program does not require you to use music that is purchased. Physical, digital versions of music doesn't require that. Therefore, you're going to be streaming. So you're streaming Tidal, you're streaming Spotify, you're streaming, BeatSource. None of these kids are streaming BeatSource. Let's just be honest with you. They're going to go with whatever the most cost-effective thing is, which means they're probably using SoundCloud. Maybe they're using Tidal. But all of these things are not sorry, I'm seeing a message here. But all of these things are not things they own. Remote app is not an app. Serato has an app that you can control your stuff. But I'm talking about a true mobile experience. Victor isn't VDJ and DJ the same company? No, they are not. One's virtual DJ is virtual DJ. DJ is by algorithm. So, yeah, two different companies, two completely different mindsets for how they make their software. Two completely different things. So if all the kids are streaming music right now, what are all of these kids and the kids underneath them going to be doing? They're going to be streaming music. So ultimately, what you have is 10, 20 years from now, you're going to see a lot of people just rocking DJ because that's what they started with. Streaming is the future. And that's why streaming is the future. Yeah, Mac, Joseph, you are not incorrect. You know, I think a lot of companies out there think that they can't be taken over, and you don't want to be that company that turns on the lights on a certain Thursday and all of a sudden you're like, hey, where'd all our people go? Like, you don't want that, you know, but that's what happens, you know, and it will be sudden. If the switch does happen, it will be sudden. It'll be like a changing of the guards, but they won't even know, you know, all of their old people that are still using Serato, like me, although I do use DJ also. But all those old people, who just stopped DJing, there won't be the cache, that the back cache, you know, the backfill. And then all of a sudden it'll just be like, hey, nobody's using Serato anymore. Hey, nobody's using Rekordbox anymore. And again, I don't want any of these companies to go out of business. So I'm not saying that in a way that's like, yeah, it's going to happen. I'm just saying that if you don't read the tea leaves and the writing on the wall, you could get into a situation where this happens, and we don't want that. Most of the kids get bored in a few months. That's what your parents said about you, Stan. Oh, it's just a phase. It's just a phase. They'll just get out of it. No, man, no. If you are a music head, you are a music head. That will not change. Will not change. I've been a music head since I was like 8 years old. It doesn't leave your body. Does not leave your body. It's there. Okay. All right. I got a lot of questions here. So I'm going to try to answer them, but I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these questions, not the questions themselves, but I have questions before that I think I'm missing here. So, but I will answer a couple of questions. So DJ Phenomenal says, with streaming being the future, what would you say are the best tools for having reliable Wi-Fi at a gig? Well, again, streaming doesn't mean that you have to stream at your event. Okay. Streaming just means that you don't own the songs, but a lot of these things like BeatSource will allow you to download them to your phones and stuff. So I still think that's going to be a thing. People downloading all their media to their devices, but I'm looking at the thing again. But if the most reliable that I feel, for me, it always has been, is to stream from the device you're DJing on. I have hotspots. I use hotspots. I use my phone as a hotspot. It all works, but nothing works better than when I'm using it directly on the device. So, which means that like my iPad, I rarely have problems, even when I'm in questionable areas, because I don't know, it just works better in your phone. I'm not a big phone guy. Like I'm not going to be the DJ that DJs off of his iPhone consistently. That's not me. I like having something larger that I can see and use. So for me, I'm an iPad guy, and I have an iPad Pro USB-C, so I can use it with all of my stuff, just like a computer. I have the Magic Keyboard, therefore I can type in, I can still search, I can still use my mouse, to navigate. Like all of these little things are for me. Now, people who use their phones, great. That's probably not going to be me. It's just too small. I need to be able to see the screen. So, okay. All right. Now, Nathan says, I switched from Serato to Rekordbox this year, and honestly, just the experience of trying something new helped a lot. Having options is great. Might switch back later. I think, if you are any DJ of substance and it's more than just a hobby for you, I truly believe that all DJs should not only use all the programs, assuming that it works with your gear, obviously, and also having a backup of whatever gear, whatever app. Like some people are like, I just use Serato and that's all I use. I'm a Serato guy. I'm like, that's great. What if you get to a situation where, I don't know, your Serato's not working properly? Some gear may require a club kit that you don't own and you don't want to have to pay the extra fee in order to get that club kit. You know what will work? Virtual DJ. So there are little things like that where I always keep a copy. I have a copy of Virtual DJ, and now I have the lifetime copy now, but I just recently got the lifetime copy. Prior to that, I was paying every month, for it. And then finally, when I got in touch with Virtual DJ, and we're building relationships, I said, look, hey, I need to have a copy because I need to be able to test your stuff, and I don't want to have to go back and whatever. So they gave me a copy. So that was great. But I think ever since I made the Virtual DJ video and I did the review on Virtual DJ, I've been paying monthly for that every single month. And that was like 3 or 4 years ago. At that point, I definitely could have just bought the license, but I wasn't sure that I was going to even be interested in it. But I have Virtual DJ. I have Serato. I have Algorithm DJ. And I'm going to say this, and this is just my own personal opinion. I love Serato. But in general, Algorithm DJ is fun. They just do it right. Everything about it feels really good. The only thing that doesn't feel good is is the way they lock in to Apple Music / iTunes. That's the only thing. That's their only limitation, but that's also because they're like Mac to the extreme. That's the only thing. Besides that, it's a almost perfect piece of software. Almost. Now, their stems are not as good anymore. So they need to update their stems with a quickness. Anyway. All right, let's Mark Bull says, do you think there will be a shift to virtual reality clubs over the next few years? Lots of nightclubs closing. I don't know. You know what? Out of all the things that I try to predict or see, maybe it's the old in me, but I cannot see people, the masses, wanting to go to a virtual club. I just can't see it. Not to mention, the metaverse looks like trash, absolute trash. I just can't see it. I think people need human to human interaction, physical interactions. That's just me though. I could be wrong. Remember that? What was that movie with Bruce Willis? Surrogates, where everybody was in like a surrogate android body and they just controlled it via virtual reality, and they walked around the world and did everything. And Bruce Willis was like, I just want to hug my wife. I think you need to have that person to person contact until the next coronavirus 596 doesn't allow you to even breathe on people. And then maybe the metaverse will be good. I'm pretty sure that Mark Zuckerberg was pissed off when they found a cure for corona. He's like, damn it, you ruined all my plans. Okay, I'm going to jump back real quick because I need to be able to see. Okay, before I lose some questions here. All right. DJ Plush says, what would be a good mid-range controller separate from the DDJ SB3? Good mid-range controller from Pioneer DJ. That's a tough one because I think we're kind of we're in a middle place right here, where I think Pioneer is changing, and there's still a gap in between what they have, because the middle of the road would be like the Flex 6, and I'm not a Flex 6 fan. I think the best midline controller that they have made is the DDJ 800, but it does not work for Serato. Don't ask me why. I don't know, but I think that was probably the best controller that never really blew up because they didn't make it for Serato also. I'll have to think about that one. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Well, let me see something here. Yeah, because the SB3 is virtually. I'm sorry, I'm looking at it real quick. Yeah, so this is basically. I hate when it does this. Hold on. Okay. I gotta make a tweak here real quick, so I can get my demo screen up. So hold on one moment. While I do this, I'm sure you guys can still hear me. Where are you? Oh, there we go. Okay. Why don't you work? Hold on. Because this shit is hot. Okay. All right. Let's try this one more time. Get my overhead to work here. There we go. What the hell is this side thing? Okay, there we go. All right, so this is basically, I don't know, an SX, a 249. Nothing wrong with it. It works just fine. I mean, I have a Flex 4 down here, and it's good. But you're gonna want something with obviously XLR outs, something a little better. I don't know what mid price for you is. Is mid price 500? Is mid price, 800 to 1,000? Because there's a lot more options when you move into that price point. Okay, let's see here. All right. Anthony Roy from West Virginia. What's going on? Shot of Hennessy in the crowd. That's funny. Okay. DJ Phasm is now a member. Thank you so much, DJ Phasm. I appreciate you, and I appreciate anybody that supports what we do here. Thank you so much. It just tells me that, I'm providing quality content. So I appreciate that. Also practicing picking the right song selection over a set routine for me. DJ clubs and bars. Yeah. Programming is one of the most important parts that I think gets ignored. I said this on Twitch on Tuesday, that I know a lot of DJs that have amazing hands, can't pick a song to save their life. And then there's people like me that have solid hands, and my song selection is, I want to say pretty damn good. So I think I don't know which one is, well, I know which one's better. Programming over hands any day of the week. But I think you can have a balance. And I think a lot of people get into it and they're like, oh, I want to scratch, I want to scratch, I want to scratch. And then, you know, life. And then you can't. So, because most people aren't really doing too much scratching on their events. Not like that anyway. I was telling people on Tuesday that if you even want to improve your hands, you only need to know like 4 different scratches, and you can do pretty much anything and everything you've ever wanted to do. And they're not the hardest scratches at all. But if you learn to master the baby scratch, the scribble, chirps, and an average transform, that's all you need. You don't need to know any of this other stuff, autobahns and all of this stuff. You don't need to know. Most people aren't doing any of that stuff on their events. Most people are doing, baby scratches and scribbles. This is just fact. And a good scribble goes a long way. A long way. So that's, I think that's what you should practice. Practice your scribble. Bit. That's it. Scratch, practice that. Practice your chirps. And then a rudimentary transform. And I think you'll be fine. Okay. I see people saying the DDJ 800. Looks like I was correct in my assessment. Okay. Reading the crowd says Soul Brothers should be also a factor in choosing what songs to play. Reading the crowd should be 80%. Unless you're a showcase DJ. If you're a showcase DJ, do whatever the hell you want. But if you are a DJ playing for people that came to dance, not came to see you, then being able to read the crowd is paramount. But it's okay to splash some stuff in that they've never heard, but it needs to be splashed in between some hits, because if you pick the wrong song and people don't know it or people don't care about it, you need to have something else to pick yourself back up. Okay. T Diesel in the building. What is going on? Gabriel says, Bad Bunny's insane. I got forced to play Bad Bunny and ain't gonna lie, that shit set off the party big time. Bad Bunny's it right now. That's it. I'm telling you, do a Latin event. If you play Bad Bunny every 4th or 5th song, nobody will request a single song from you. Unless they're like, can you play a salsa song for I can dance with my wife? That's it. That is it. Retro DJ in the building. Good to see you. Any news on production supply issues, says Christian Lim? Yeah, there's plenty of news. All the manufacturers have supply issues. All of them. Getting things repaired, getting new product out. It's all supply chain issues. In music has it. Pioneer DJ has it. Reloop has it. They're all suffering the exact same thing. Everything's going to take a little longer right now. That's it. Okay. All right. Ben Solomon in the building. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. DJ Los, is the Bose 32 still holding up? All day long. It's a great speaker system. I will actually be using it. When's my first gig back? 7th. Actually, pretty much for the entire month, I will be on my Bose system. Oh, today, not that it matters to most of you, especially if we're talking about Bose. I'm doing a speaker shootout. We are going to be testing literally right after this. I'm pulling my speakers in. I'm pulling in 4 speakers, not all of my speakers. But I know some people really wanted to hear the Mackie DRM 18 and what my opinion on it was. So I have brought. I'm going to test the Mackie DRM18 compared to my JBL SRX 818 compared to the SRT 18 from Mackie compared to my Eon 518 sub, which to most people don't even know that Eon 518 sub was one of the best sounding affordable speakers on the planet, in my opinion. And it took a beating. You could push the hell out of it, and it always sounded good. It's a shame that JBL doesn't make their lower end stuff sound as good. Now, from what I understand, because the 600 series was trash, all of it. But what I understand is I think the 700 series that they just came out with is better. In my opinion, it's just equal to what it was before they came out with the 600 series, but just an opinion. And then we'll do a test and we'll see which one sounds good, sounds better. I mean, I know which one is going to sound better, but I'm more interested in knowing if the Mackie DRM sounds any better, because I have not been a fan of the Mackie subs. I'm a big fan of their highs. You know, the SRT highs are good. The thump highs are really good for the price point, but their subs have just been, I just don't like them. I just don't like them. So it'll be interesting to see, or hear, I should say. Okay. Retro DJ says, on the topic of constructive criticism, have you come across a DJ where you wanted to kick him out and take over a gig? Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That's one of the reasons that we're paying for this amazing DJ to train them, because I can only be so many places at one time. So I need somebody that can be dedicated to that, because I can't be. But several times I try to go and see my guys perform as much as possible. But the problem is we've been so busy that I haven't been able to. So we're slowing down a little bit. When I say slowing down, I just think it's just we're going towards more average. Like before the pandemic, we would average 5 to 7 events on a hot weekend, right? Sometimes 4, but that's fine. I'm good with that. During the pandemic, we were doing 10 to 12 on a given Saturday. So I didn't get a chance to see anybody. I didn't know what level we were at. I didn't know how people were operating, just because I couldn't see it. So I did go to one of my events last weekend, and he was playing the dumbest music. And it wasn't so much that it was dumb. It just wasn't, he wasn't reading the crowd, and I kept having to say, hey, why don't you play this song? He played that song. The entire crowd would run to the dance floor. And I'd back off, let him do his thing. He'd play another song. People would leave. I'm like, hey man, why don't you do this? Play that song. People would come back. And I'm just sitting there going, if you actually hear what I'm saying to you, then you know that I'm just trying to keep people on the dance floor. That's it. So yes, I have run into that issue before. I've only taken over maybe twice. When they're not understanding, so anyway, that's funny. What's everybody playing at midnight? I'm playing, Odd Lan Zang. I don't know what song I'm going to play after that just yet. But we'll see. I'm playing for a bunch of old people, so we'll see what happens. Okay. Gabriel says, any equipment updates that you're looking forward to in the new year? Well, I'd like to spend a little more time with the Rain 4. That's one thing. There's gear on the horizon. There's some gear on the horizon that I'm excited for, but we're not there yet. Okay. I need you to give away some Calm speakers and let me win, please. Yeah, they're on their way. They're on their way to you right now. In general, I mean, I do have people that are given some, because we're giving away the Mackie SRT system with a Mixstream Pro. That's going to happen mid-January. So we're going to do the giveaway on Thursday of that January 18th week, which is my birthday week. So we're going to give it away. I think it's like the 19th or something like that. Anyway, could be the 20th. I'm not really sure. So I've had a lot of sob stories about, hey, I need this. I lost all my gear. I did this happened. And I'm just like, that's why it has to be random, because you just don't know. You just don't know if people are being honest or not, you know? So you keep it random and then let karma take its place. You know, also, as I said before, the shipping is going to happen from you guys. So everybody just put aside a couple $100 because it's going to cost that much to ship it ground to wherever you are in the, I guess, the local United States and or maybe Canada or Mexico. I'm not even sure. So, because I'd have to take the whole thing in, and it's a lot of equipment. Maybe I will, just to get a price point. Anyway, but we're not there yet. Okay. Oh my God, they're still doing the I Love the 90s? Amazing. That's cool. That's dope. Gabriel says, I know you hate Tractor. I don't hate Tractor. I just don't feel Tractor's necessary in the world. And if it all disappeared, I'd be okay. I don't know. I guess that's hate. Rev 10 for the fat hands and the, you know, and the buff bodies. Weirdest venue you've ever played? Oh God. So this is the one thing I am not good at. Okay, I'm not good at a lot of things, but this is one of those things that when anybody says, "Hey, what's the weirdest thing you've ever done?" or what's the worst party? What's this? I honestly don't know, because I don't think about that. That part of my life, I never think about. What's the weirdest? What's the hardest? What's the worst? So I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you, because I've played on everything. I played on boats. I played in the back of trucks, nightclubs, venues, houses. I played everywhere. So it's a hard question for me to answer. Okay. S11 is amazing, especially for stems. Why does S11 make stems better? Out of curiosity. I need to take my mixer to the gig on New Year's. So I was trying to figure out if I wanted to take my Rain 70 or my S11. So I don't know. I'll have to mess with it. I have not messed with stems on my S11 just yet, to be honest with you. Have I tried the Steam Deck with Serato? No, but my guy PJ has. My guy Drew Bach from Pioneer has. He owns one too, and it looks really impressive. It looks really, really impressive. You know. And again, when I talk about high-end computers, because I know that was a hot spot, it's not about price, because you can get yourself a M1 MacBook Air for $1,000. So it was never about spending the $4,000 on the computer. I don't think most people need that. I bought mine because I do all my video stuff, I do all my music stuff, I do all my DJ stuff, all on one computer. So I need the best possible out there. But yeah, like that Steam Deck looks pretty damn impressive. Pretty damn impressive. DJ Thomas says, just curious how many DJs on here do this for a living. My DJ business is my side business. I think a lot of people, it's their side business. A lot of people. Okay. I remember getting screwed by Club Kit after I got the 900. Yep. Okay. Mike Feliciano says, have you reviewed Mix and Key software? If you haven't reviewed it, do you have any thoughts on the software knowing you haven't reviewed it? I only have one thought on Mix and Key. I think Mix and Key is a good software. I think it does what it's supposed to do, and it does a good job at it. The only issue for me is I have never used or cared for even looking at my keys. Oh my God. Because I'm not a mixed in key guy. I'm an ear guy. I do my own mixed in key in my brain. because that's how us old DJs learned how to DJ with vinyl. And vinyl did not have a key on there. Vinyl didn't even have a BPM. So I learned to use my ears. And because I produce music, it has always helped me be able to put stuff together and be able to hear things before I play them. So I have not. Now, mixed in key will serve a purpose. Mixed in key will serve a purpose now because what we're going to see is a lot of people using stems. And for stems, you absolutely need to be mixing in key. Now, I'm not talking about transitions, where you take the bass line out and it's in key because you remove the bass line. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about like actual doing mashups and playing acapellas over instrumentals. You're going to need to, and unless it's rap, but singing wise, if it's an R&B track or a rock track or a pop track, it's going to need to be in key. So that's where I think mix in key is going to have its strength. But no, have not used it. I've only heard good things about it. I think a lot of people that use mixed in key use it incorrectly because they get into this thing where they feel like every song needs to be mixed in key. And if not, then it's not worth mixing. And that's the worst thing. That's the farthest thing that you should be thinking as a DJ. Anybody that mixes primarily in key has very boring sets. I've said this before, but I will continue to say it. I don't care who you are. Anybody that mixes in key, that set's going to be boring the entire way. Just an opinion. Okay. Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. I know somebody asked about what I would take to a bridal convention. A lot of those bridal conventions don't really want you to bring a whole bunch of stuff. So I would keep it easy and even have like a Mackie Thump Go chilling next to me. That way I could turn it up if necessary, but I'm not bringing a whole bunch of stuff. You're better off bringing like a big monitor, displaying your stuff and just talking to the client. That's what I would do. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. I'm going to let that conversation happen. Okay. All right. Blue Silver says he has a 14-year-old daughter, keeps him current with music. Yep. Waste will have soon from all the technology changes. Yeah. Mixers with built-in routers and their cell phone 5G signal is the future. I don't know about that. You don't, because you don't need it. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, they might have an Ethernet port in the back, like the Pioneers do right now, that will allow you to plug in. But I don't know that built-in routers. Maybe for the super high end, the CDJ 6000s, you might see that kind of stuff in there, but you're not going to see that on the common controller. I don't think so. Okay. Streaming is the future of the way BeatSource is doing it. Agreed. Standstill says, thank God I got booked for Soul Funk events. The idea of having to play the music that is around in the charts is terrible. No soul or substance. Well, I don't know that I agree 100% with you. I do think there's a lot of bad music out there. I do. But I also think that there's a lot of great music. You just have to dig for it. You got to dig for it. Even the popular stuff. There's music out there that has substance. It's just it's being hidden away by a lot of crappy music. But, to each their own. I know DJs that are adamant about the fact that they would never ever DJ a private event because, it goes against the foundations of who they are. And if I can't play music that I love, then I won't do it. More power to you. More power to you. I think you need the best of both worlds, because the ones where you play stuff that that maybe isn't your jam are the ones that are going to pay you all the time. The ones where you're doing stuff just for yourself, rarely do you get paid the same money. So I think that it's a combination of both. I believe you have to do both. I know there's a lot of DJs out there that feel like, no, if you don't change who you are and just play what you play, and the things will come to you. Maybe. I know a lot of amazing DJs that don't work. That's all I'll say. I know a lot of amazing DJs that that live in an apartment with a beat up, car, because they stood on their morals. Not saying it's wrong. You do what's right for you. But I'm saying, I'm trying to raise a family and have a home and do all these things. So I think you need a happy medium. So my work life, as far as the week, yeah, I'm talking to clients. My parties, yeah, I'm playing stuff I don't want to play. But you know what else I'm doing? When I'm not working these parties on Saturday, I do clubs. And when I do the clubs that I want to do. I play the music that I want to play. But that's not paying my bills. So everybody's got a different priority. Okay. All right. Let me just drop down. All right. I'm going to drop down here. And if anybody has any questions, that I missed, throw it down. Throw it down. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and that S7 video that I just posted, I had the S7 for I think it might have been 3 hours when I made that little routine. So that was I would say the luck of talent. Oh man, that one was hard. Okay. Oh, Blue Silver. The worst party is the one you don't book. That's pretty damn good. It is supposed to rain in Cali. And it is what it is. I get paid regardless if it's raining. So what do I care? John Smith says, if you struggle during a show, where do you fall back on to pick you up? So there is no one right answer for this, because it honestly depends on the crowd you're playing on. If I'm playing a Latin crowd and stuff ain't working, yes, I'm gonna go into some Bad Bunny stuff. I'm gonna go into some classics, some some Celia Cruz, some Mark Anthony. If I'm playing, a disco set, for a disco thing, and maybe stuff's not working, which it always works, but whatever. Maybe I'm playing, which I haven't played in a long time. I haven't played I Will Survive, but like, there's so many disco tracks out there. Maybe I'll play some ABBA, maybe I'll play some Earth, Wind and Fire. If I'm playing 80s stuff, stuff that comes back around, it's like Tricky. It's maybe a little Madonna. If I'm playing 90s and I need to bounce back, I'm playing some sort of Biggie, Tupac, Snoop type thing. If I'm playing 2000s, I'm going to play something from the Little John era, it just depends. It honestly just depends on the crowd. If I'm trying to be universal right now, things like Dancing Queen by ABBA are huge. It works for everybody. Everybody's on the dance floor singing along. Things like the next episode for old school hip hop, huge. Ever since Dre performed at the Super Bowl, all of his music literally blew up again. So it just depends. There's no one answer. There's no one answer. I played on the shrimp boat. That's hilarious. If we live local or close to you, can we come pick it up? Yes, 100%. 100%. You can meet me at my warehouse and we'll load it in your vehicle and you can take it with you. Definitely. All right. Ernie Morocco says, good year. After watching your review on the X5 wireless things, I bought 4 and they're going on eBay. The battery life doesn't last more than 3 hours. I'm getting Alto Stealths. I don't, that's fine. If they only last 3 hours for you, that's fine. I have not experienced that. I can get 4 hours out of those easily. I think you have to look at all of the elements as to why they're not lasting. And if they're not lasting, that means it's because they're trying too hard to run a solid connection, which means they're using more power, which means they're dying. So there's a lot of reasons why that could happen. And I'm not there. I'm not with you. I don't know what you did or what you didn't do, but typically that's why. Line of sight's important. Distance is important. And that's going to happen with anything you use. If you're running full distance, you might run into an issue where things don't last. It's kind of like using your cell phone in a weak signal. You're going to use more battery because that cell phone service requires more power. So I don't know, but I have not experienced that. Also, well, I don't know. You'd have to tell me more about it. Okay. Flacco, any advice to create a booth output for any controller that only have RCA master outputs? Yeah, get yourself an RCA to XLR. They sell them on Amazon, very cheap. RCA to XLR, and you're good to go. That works just fine. Okay. You can use this. Okay, I think somebody's asking questions. Larry Wilson says, what is your approach to pacing out 3-hour sets? Larry Wilson, this is a very good question. And I'm going to give you a very simple answer. If you want to pace out your 4-hour sets, make sure you have enough music. Damn. Just spitting mad facts here. What I mean by that is, just because something is 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours, it shouldn't stress you out. Usually when people are stressed out, it's because they just don't have enough music. They probably have enough music, but they just don't know that they have the music on their computer. It's not cleaned up. They don't put the best music in the right place. So they're at a loss when they're trying to look for songs to play. 3 hours, 4 hours should not be an issue, especially if you're able to play multiple genres. Then you really should not have an issue. You can play 80s, 90s, 2000s, disco, classic rock. That's 4 hours worth of stuff right there. Now, if somebody's like, hey, this is a Spanish club or an Indian club or whatever, and now you got to play for 3.5, 4 hours, that's a different story altogether. That requires you to do the research to actually get your crates, get your music in order so you can play for that 3.5 to 4 hours. That's hard when you don't have enough music. That's hard when you don't have that genre that people are asking for. You know, I think every single DJ out here, I think the average amount of music for stuff that's not in your wheelhouse, you know, like, oh, I'm a hip hop DJ. I'm an EDM DJ. Anything outside of what your normal stuff is, I think most people have probably an hour's worth of music. You know, I got an hour's worth of Latin. I got an hour's worth of Persian. I got an hour's worth of whatever. And after that hour, they got nothing. So when I started doing Latin clubs, I had to increase my entire catalog to make that work. So now the club that I DJ I think I DJ like once or twice a month. It's a 4-hour event, 10 to 2. So and it's not just 10 to 2 where it's like at 10 o'clock, there's nobody there. At 10 o'clock, there's still 75 people in that room. So from 10 o'clock all the way to 2, I'm throwing heaters the entire night. That took a lot of work and a lot of practice and a lot of just going through your music. So, you know, that's the only way. All right. Your thoughts on QSC subs? The QSC subs are really, really good. Heavy, good. I've just been hearing rumors that QSC may not be in that division much longer. Just rumors I've heard, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, the that KS 118, that thing hits. That slaps. It's a really, really good sub. But you know, I got to figure out what I'm using. So right now, I have my SRX tops. I also have an 828, which is the SRX 828, which is their single cabinet dual speaker setup. Excuse me. The 828. I also have the 818s, and my partner just recently bought the SRX 900s. My 828 and my SRX highs sound amazing together. The problem is the 828 is big. It takes up a lot of space. And when you get to places, sometimes you can't even use it because it's just awkward. But sound-wise, one of the best sounding subs I've ever heard. Sound-wise, one of the best tuned sub and high combos that I've ever used. And I say this, and I know this because when I started using the 818s, because I wanted to go with something a little smaller so my truck could handle it or whatever, it didn't sound the same. Nowhere near the same. So I am so the QSC 118s are good. I think I'm going to go look in the Bass Boss. I think so. I love my tops. My SRX highs are great, but I want something that's, you know, compact, but still packs a punch. So I'm going to go take a look at Bass Boss. But QSC subs are good. The JBL SRX 815 is a good speaker. Yes. It's a very good speaker. Very good speaker. Retro, what do you think is the easiest way to learn drum padding? See some drum pads to match next intro. Did you do any tutorials on this? No, because I don't think that I don't think there's one right way to drum pad. Everybody's different. Like I learned back in high school, so I'm a thumb/finger drummer, like that. You know, so everybody's different. But I know there's new people. They're literally like typing. I can't do the typing thing, but it's really impressive. So I don't know. There's a lot of videos up there. DJ J Black has some great videos. Beats by Jay. I met him at the Sweetwater, and he's a really, really great guy. So there's a lot of good ones out there though. Check out Dotson Audio. He does some Twitch streaming, and he's amazing. So there's a lot of good ones out there though. All right. Jose says Mix Emergency is the best for video mixing. There's probably a conversation here that I'm missing? Okay. Kylie Palm in the building. What is going on? Rashawn says, I purchased the Flex 6 a day after it dropped and returned it the following day. Did not like it whatsoever. Yep. Should have watched my video. Because I didn't like it either. Rashawn says, DJ feels like it was made just for you, if that makes sense. It makes total sense. Makes total sense. And I think that's why I've never really liked Virtual DJ. It's a great program, but every time I go into it, I'm just like, this does not feel like me. Every time. And anybody that tells me, just skin it. No. Why do I need to skin it to make it look better? I shouldn't have to. Why don't they just make a better skin? And the latest skin, the latest default layout that they have is because of me. You're welcome. You're welcome. Because of all the things I put into my review. After that, they did all the things, not all the things, but most of the things that I talked about as negatives. So you're welcome. But even now, as good as it is, I don't like looking at it. If I'm being petty right now, I don't like looking at it. So, sorry. Everybody's different. And, DJ software is like a car. You get into the car, you start messing with stuff. Maybe the dash is weird. Center column you don't like. You got blind spots in the windows back there. And maybe you don't like the fact that the brake is in the middle. You want it to be by your feet. Like all of these little things play into how you enjoy a car. Sometimes you get into a car and immediately you're like, oh, this is it. This is the car I want. That's how I feel about DJ software. It's got to make sense for me. And it's all emotion. It's all emotion. And if I'm looking at something and I'm not happy to use it, I'm not using it. I mean, that's it. So Serato, I started on. I do like Rekordbox a lot. Rekordbox is a really good software. And DJ. I think those three. And if you didn't notice, they're all super dark themed. So I think a dark theme thing is for me. But again, I'm not going to skin it. Not going to skin it. Okay. DJ Dam in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. All right. My sentiment on Serato UI compared to DJs. Agreed. Everybody's different. Everybody sees things different. Yeah. And a lot of people do. I mean, AJ says right here, I can't pull away from Serato. I love the simple basic UI. This is a thing. A lot of people. That's one of the reasons that a lot of people love the Rain 1. And you can't tell them any different. They love the Rain 1 because of how simple it is. And that's fine. That's a fair assessment. I think when it's all said and done, things like Serato, when you just want it to work, 2 turntables and a mixer, Serato's going to give that to you. You don't even need to have all the extra bells and whistles. Serato's going to give that to you. So, I'm a big fan of Serato. Serato is my default, followed by Algorithm DJ. That's my second choice. Technically, if Rekordbox wasn't locked to Rekordbox, might be a close second. But because DJ works on everything, and they have, stem work on my Rev 7, I'm a big fan. Okay. All right, we got 30 minutes because I think I have a conference call at 1 p.m. Let me make sure here. I never know anymore because I use Calendly. 1:15. People could not give me 1 week off. I'm like, should I turn off Calendly for this week because I just need some time on my own? I just need to not have a phone call. So I didn't turn it off. Yesterday, I had 4 meetings. Today, I have 1. But it's like, can't you guys just have 1 week? 1 week where you don't call? Just hold that call until the following week. Because a lot of these people, it's not even about their parties. Like, if some people are like, well, my party's on January 7th. I get that. That actually makes sense. But then, there's a lot of people that are just, hey, I have a party in 2024. I'm calling you. I'm just like, you just couldn't wait 1 week. 1 week. Anyway. Ruben, I probably did not see it. I'm getting a lot of comments here for your super chat. So let me scroll up and see if it pops up. All right, here we go. What will it take for Serato to release a M1.5 mobile app to compete with DJ? Right now, with the tech available, it shouldn't be too hard to achieve. So, the funny thing about Serato is that they already had it. Their remote app is literally 60% all the way through. All they had to do was add in some library management, and honestly, that's all they needed. So I don't know. But I do know this. If their reaction is anywhere near their reaction to stems, because they jumped on stems pretty quickly when people were like, we kind of like stems. We're kind of moving over to DJ. A lot of people, I think Serato was like, we got to get stems in here. Because I know for a fact that their roadmap did not include stems first. I know that. They were trying to get their library management fixed, which they need to do. But stems was a big deal. So they had to do it. They had to do it. And they did it, and they did it right. So big fan of that. I can't use DJ right now because their stems are garbage. DJ needs a stem update immediately. After that, I'm still DJ is still stuck in the back of my brain. It really is. I'm still a big DJ fan. Once they're able to get my music into my iPad easily without having to use iTunes and sync your iTunes playlist to DJ. Once they're able to do that, all bets are off. I might be an iPad DJ after that. Never going to be a phone DJ, but I might be an iPad DJ. Anyway. Okay. All right. Let's go back up here. See? People keep adding in meetings. I just got another meeting follow-up. Hold on. When is this client's party? Let's see here. Pet Lack. Okay. See? Fair enough. Their party's on the 14th. I'll let that go. All right. Antoine says, what do you think that Rekordbox will go the Sims route? Absolutely. This is what I will say about all programs out there. Okay. Every one of them. Typically speaking, when you have something this large, you're not going to see somebody release an app update without actually having hardware that can use it. So I think what's going to end up happening is Rekordbox will come out with their stems along with another piece of tech. I think that's what you're going to see. Serato did the same thing. Serato and the Rain 4. The only ones that don't are the other people, the algorithms and the DJ, because they don't actually have any hardware. But I think that's what you're going to see. When stems comes out for Rekordbox, there will be gear with it. That's my thought. All right, let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Audio card in the Rain 1 is magnificent. It's every audio card coming out of Rain products is typically really good. So It's not just the Rain 1. I guarantee you the Rain 4 is going to have just as good of audio outputs. My Rain 70 sounds great. And here's the thing, because I know a lot of people want to compare Rain to Pioneer. Rain sounds better. Pioneer doesn't sound as good. Well, that's not actually true. They both sound really good. The difference is color. It's racist. The difference is color. Rain has more color in their output. Pioneer DJ is very, very transparent. That's the difference. In all honesty, every piece of gear that has come out lately, over the past, couple of years, since the pandemic, maybe even since like the DDJ 1000, Pioneer's outputs has been really, really good. Okay. Blue Silver says Virtual DJ is, it's strange and then look professional. Everybody's got their thing. I'm on the same page as you. And I don't want to program. Even as good as it is now, there's still a lot of programming that needs to happen in order to get it to be where you want it to be. Seasoned DJs will like Serato due to the layout and UI. VDJ seems a little more complex and more likely to have to be adjusted for every venue you play at. Not so much every venue, but definitely every piece of gear. Every gear is going to react a little differently. And I don't believe that Virtual DJ is really good at DVS. Just the things that they do while using turntables or even the Rain 12s, they are counterproductive to how I DJ. It's just one of those things. For instance, the pitch, very, very slow reaction time to pitching up or down with DVS specifically. And from what I understand, I haven't used it, but I think the Ref 7 struggles with that a little bit too with Serato. With Virtual DJ. And then the instant doubling. That's probably my least favorite thing about it. When you instant double in Virtual DJ on DVS or even the Rain 12s, you can't just make an adjustment to get it back to where it is. Because so if you're doing DVS with Serato or even with like vinyl, when you instant double, it's still taking into account where your pitch is on the other deck. So if your pitches aren't lined up, you're going to go off real fast, right? So with Virtual DJ, when you instant double, it completely disregards your turntables. All right. So then when you want to get it back so you can control the actual pitch, you got to make sweeping adjustments to get it there. And that drives me nuts. So not a fan of that. Everybody's different. Okay. Flacco says, when it comes to downloading music, do you usually only download danceable music and new music coming out, or do you keep all songs coming out per week? No, I do not do that. Oh, no. That's a recipe for disaster. If you go out there and you download all the music and then you try to figure out what you like and then you delete the rest, recipe for disaster. Download the stuff that you want to play. That's it. Download the stuff that you want to play. If you think it works on your party, then fine, download it. If it doesn't work on your party, if it doesn't work what you're doing, delete it. Get rid of it. No use in just having space taken up on your computer. That's just silly to me. And I know a lot of people, we DJs can be hoarders. Well, what if so-and-so, requests this song? I want to make sure I have it. Okay, fine. But there are levels to this. There's one thing to make sure you got some classic country song or some, Willie Nelson song or, Proud to Be an American. Like that stuff. Yeah, I never play, but every so often, 4th of July, somebody's like, hey, can you play that track for me? Or that's that. But I'm not keeping every song anymore. There's no reason to keep every song anymore. We're past that because that's what streaming's for. There's certain songs that are temporary. fads. I don't even download anymore. I just stream. I beat source it. I pull it into my download folder, and I just play that until it's gone. Because I know some songs, there's a lot of disposable music out there. No reason to keep it. I no longer keep certain genres. I throw them in the beat source and download. That way I can play them from there. I keep all of them, the classics, all the things I know I'm going to play. I keep the classics from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s to now. But music that I don't play, I've been getting rid of. I keep songs that I know they don't make anymore. If I can't find them in any of my streaming services, but there's just certain music I don't keep anymore. Ironically, I prefer Serato Lite over Serato Pro. I understand that, Larry. I do. Because I think Serato Lite has some great features in there. I do. Although I'm still a Serato Pro guy, but yes, the first time I actually installed Serato Lite was like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I never used it before that. It's a good program and it has some cool stuff. And it gives you all those sample tools, the sample audio tools that I don't know why Serato DJ doesn't give you. Why do they give it to you in Lite and not in Pro? That just seems weird to me. But once you download them, once you install Serato DJ Lite, those files remain with Serato DJ Pro. Just a little trick. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to say this thing one more time because I have one pet peeve. I probably have many pet peeves, but this is probably my largest pet peeve. And AJ said it, but AJ is not the only one that says it. This is a common thing with DJs. Here's what they say. Whether Rane or Pioneer, whether MacBook or PC, the people on the dance floor don't care. It's just us that care. That is my biggest pet peeve statement. Nobody cares what you use. They only care that they're dancing, that you're playing the right music. This is obviously true. This is a fact. I know it. You know it. But it's very, very one-sided. It is an argument that is being made to typically support what it is that you use. But in my opinion, it's just partly correct because a car can get you from LA to San Francisco, can get you across the country, LA to New York. Any car can do this. But the difference is certain cars have more amenities. Certain cars have more refinements. Certain cars have just better feel as you drive them. Certain cars don't feel that good once you're driving over 65 miles per hour. Certain cars have bad fuel efficiency. Certain cars have bad audio systems inside. Certain cars, the seats just hurt. You can still get across the country in a piece of shit beater. That does not mean that I want to ride in that piece of shit beater. I want it to be comfortable. I want to have my air conditioned seats, my heated and air. I want a good sound system. I want it to be able to do Apple AirPlay and CarPlay and maybe even Google Drive, whatever they call that thing, Google CarPlay, whatever. I want it to be able to do all of these things. I want to be comfortable. I want smart cruise control as I'm on the freeway and it's slowing down as I get closer to cars. I want these things. Do I need them? No. But I want them. So I think people need to just stop saying it's about people dancing. That is number one, the most important thing. But that never changes. That never changes no matter what you use. But you're still a human being. You're still a person that likes nice things. You're still a person that when they bought their house, walked in and was like, I love this room. I love the way that during the morning, the sun comes into the window and it reflects off the glass and it makes a cool little thing in my house. I like that when I go out on my patio and drink my coffee, there's a nice little awning so it protects me from the sun. These are not necessities, but it's nice to have. So we need to get out of this whole, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you use. Yes, it does. If it didn't matter what you use, you wouldn't be using what you use right now. You'd buy this guy right here. You'd buy the Flex 4. It does everything you need. You don't need anything else. You don't need it to have all of the bells and whistles. But you do. We just need to be honest with ourselves. What it is you finally got to a place where your gear actually does what you need it to do, and you're content. So now you throw out these statements, and when I say you, I'm not speaking about any one person. I'm generalizing. And then, once you get that gear, you start saying it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Look, my iPhone 13 is a great phone. It's a great, great phone. But the fact is, when the 14 came out, I was like, I don't need it. My phone is good. My phone works. That's me justifying for myself why I don't need to buy another phone. This phone works. But guess what? As soon as the iPhone 15 comes out with USB-C, I'm moving over. Why? Because it's offering me something that's going to improve what it is that I do. Everything that I use is USB-C. So I want a phone that uses USB-C. Do I need it? No. Will my phone still work? Yes. But I like nice things. I like things to work the way I want them to work. You get what I'm saying here? Again, the statement is correct. The idea behind it is flawed, in my opinion. So I knew there wasn't anything wrong with the S9 per se. So I guess I didn't think about it. I don't know. Maybe it was just me thinking about the set or me consuming all those shots. Hold on one moment. Hey, future me, what are you doing? I'm editing your videos. What else would I be doing? No. I get that. Why are you using virtual DJ samples? Well, you said that you would never use the virtual DJ samples. So I put them in to show VDJ users that we care. See? I'm helping you out. You know you're probably going to piss them off again. No, we're cool. I'm on the forums. I got a username, I got a password and everything. I'm a part of the community. And when you're a part of the community, you can make jokes, because we're all just having fun. That's what we do. And it's kind of like being black. Because when you're black, you can say, hey, come on, man. Trying to get me demonetized? Why are you being so stupid? Well, considering you from the past, if I'm stupid, I got it from you. Whatever. Yeah, whatever, back at you. Why don't you go say something smart on the camera, smart brother? Sorry about that. Let's get back to it. Okay, so I'm reading through some of the comments here, and I still think that people are not hearing what I'm saying. Because a lot of people are saying it's only, everything you're talking about is personal preference. We're people. Everything we do is personal preference. Everything. You can't separate one from the other. So, yes, the crowd doesn't notice. You're right. The crowd doesn't notice. But you know what they will notice? When you hate the gear you're using and your performance sounds like crap. They will notice that. So, once you get to what I said before, once you get to the stuff that you know works for you, that's when this comment comes out. It doesn't matter what you use. But it never matters what you use. It never matters. Your job is to keep people dancing. That's your job. So it doesn't matter how you accomplish that job. But us DJs need to stop telling other DJs that doesn't matter what you use because the blah, blah, blah. It does. As a personal preference, I want something that I like to use. Can I use trash? Absolutely. Have I used trash gear? Absolutely. Has the party still rocked? Absolutely. Doesn't mean I was having any fun. So we as people need to be happy with what we're doing also. We're not robots. As long as you keep them on the floor dancing, we're not robots. We're people. And the more energy that we have, typically, the better the show. It all comes together. All of it. You cannot separate out one from the other, is what I'm saying. But we are trying to compartmentalize the people that are dancing outside of the DJ that's DJing. It's all the same. It's all the same. You know, so yeah, maybe people don't care that what speakers you use, because they don't. But there is a difference in when they hear your party versus when they hear somebody else's party. You know, I've had clients come up to me and say, hey, you know, I don't know what it is, but your system sounds so good compared to other people. Sometimes they're harsh, sometimes they're sterile. I've had all of these people. I buy good stuff because I know that. I know they can't articulate what it is that makes my shows different than somebody else, but they know they're different. And that's the difference. They don't know, but they do know. You know, like nobody knows what stuff you're using until something craps out, until the speakers are being pushed too hard, you know, and it's distorting and burning their ears. Nobody knows, you know, until it doesn't work. So, yeah. Anyway. Okay. So you're saying don't use Newmark. Newmark has some really good controllers. Honestly, their mix their mix track, which is like a couple of $100. It's a really good controller. I can't complain about what Newmark is doing. Newmark is making controllers, entry-level stuff that a lot of people should be using as like backups. In all honesty, I'm not mad at Newmark at all. AJ, I love life more on my Rev 7 instead of my SP3. Exactly. You know, my Rev 7 makes me a better DJ. Huh? How's that possible? Because I know for a fact that even with my DDJ 1000, which I loved, it's still one of the best controllers out. Never loved the strip EQ. Never loved it. That 900 style effects. Never been my jam. So I never really used any of the stuff. Then I got to paddles, you know, with like the S9, and the paddles changed everything that I do. Paddles. So every controller that has paddles, I'm better on. I'm better at throwing effects. I'm better at, you know, changing things on the fly. They're designed for the for different people, and it works for me. You know, but if I have to rock an 800, a 1000, which I do at this one Latin club, they use a 1000. I'm still killing it. But if I'm on my Rev 7, you know, I feel like it's two turntables and a mixer, and I'm real happy. You know, the Rain 1 is a great controller, but the lack of internal effects, the lack of little display here and there, you know, makes me struggle a little more than I need to. It's just little things. It's the little things. So, you know, get what you want, get what works for you, but you know, let's just try to get out of the habit of saying the most obvious things like water is wet. Yes, water is wet. Jerry's still rocking the NS7 III. I'm sure you are, and I'm sure it's just fine for you. I'm sure it's just fine. Okay, let's see here. All right. So I should just get the RCF HD 45As and spend the 4,000, even though my EVs are just fine. No, if your speakers are good, you keep your speakers the way they are. And I've listened to the RCFs. They're really, really good sounding speakers. Here's the thing though. I'm all about analogies today. That's my thing today. I'm the analogy king. Here's the thing about most speakers out there. Once you get to a certain price point, okay? I know the RCFs are like at a serious price point, but in general, here's the thing. I went and listened to all of the speakers at Harvest of Sound, and they had a full-on thing. In general, every speaker in there sounded good enough. The RCFs sounded pretty damn great. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. RCFs were the best sounding speakers there. The Mauis, I think, hit the hardest. The Maui 44s hit the hardest. But again, they're basically a full-on speaker system, not a line array. So here's the thing. We get stuck in this thing where we believe that something is so much better than its competitor. But you ever go into Sears or Best Buy or Walmart, and you're looking at the big wall of TVs, right? You're looking at the big walls of TVs. So let's say, for instance, you go in and, they have one kind of dedicated area, and you're like, oh, wow. You're comparing it from one to the next. You're like, that is an amazing monitor right there. Oh, wow, that's even better. Wow, I can't believe how bad this one looks. This one is so much better. And then you separate the two. And you put the one that was maybe cheaper, more affordable in your home. And then you turn it on in your home and you're like, this is the best screen I've ever had in my house. Is the other one still better? Yes. Does that mean yours is any worse? No. And I think we do this whole weird comparison thing where it's like, oh no, this one is better. So then therefore this one is bad. It's not the case. This one is just better. That's it. And that's the way I listen to speakers, because like when they were comparing and I was listening to like even my Bose, they were doing a column array shootout, and Bose was one of them, and the RCF was another, and the Maui. And I was like, the Bose holds its own. Yeah, maybe it doesn't sound as good as the RCF, but it holds its own. And all I needed to do was hold its own. It wasn't noticeably like, oh my God, it's night and day different. No, it's a different color, but still very, very good. Anyway, okay. Samsung has had USB-C for years now. Who cares, Steve? I try to get away from that. I don't care what Samsung has. Why? I'm not going to Samsung. I'm an iPhone guy. So what Samsung has had or hasn't had doesn't affect me. My iPhone does what I need to do. So that's it. Samsung doesn't have AirDrop either. So, there's that. There's little things. Everybody's different, but anyway. All right. We got another maybe 10 minutes and then I got to get out of here. I feel privileged that I induced the classic CT rant. You're welcome. Larry Wilson says, I started gigging with the Mixtrack Pro FX before being gifted an SX2. Sound quality was day and night. I missed the FX paddles though. So yeah, and that's what I'm saying here, because the SX2 sound quality, garbage. And I say that in the most loving way possible if you still own an SX2. But in general, not a good sounding sound card in that board whatsoever. The mic is trash. Trash. Now, but the first controller I ever bought, SX2. Used the SX2 for, I used the SX2 when I wasn't using my turntables up until the 1000 came out. So I have extensive experience with the SX2. But yeah, and it's sad because the SX3 came out right around the same time as the 1000 came out. And the SX3 fixed a lot of the problems on it. Am I using Phantom Power? I am not using Phantom Power, but I'm also using the Mixcast 4. So technically, it's using Phantom Power. It just has it. The SM7B does not technically require phantom power, but it is power hungry. So it requires a console that can put out good decibels. So not phantom power, but it still requires it. Like you can't run the SM7B into most standard DJ mixers. It won't be enough. You'll have to run a cloud lifter on it. There is I feel like there's one mixer from Pioneer, not even the S11, that has an attenuator that will allow for it. Maybe the DJ. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. There's so many layers. Starts with song quality, then gear quality, cable quality, venue acoustics, so many things. Yeah, exactly. 65 dB for SM7B. Thank you, Blue Silver. Appreciate that. What is a good amount to pay for a solid mic? What kind of microphone are you looking at, Ahmad? For performing? A wireless microphone? For podcast? I need to know more information. So let me know. Man, I really love my DJI MS7 and the Bluetooth. I use Tidal to stream my music and it worked through the night and partied. I DJ'd. Yeah. I think the S7 is a really good mixer, and I wish that Bluetooth was on all the mixers because I think it's important. Philton in the building. You're late. I'm leaving soon, but I appreciate you being here, Philip. Your thoughts on the DDJ SX? I don't have an opinion anymore. It's a good board. The SX2, the SX3 is the best possible SX board you can buy because it has the dedicated mic. It has better preamps and better output on the board, better sound output. It's basically the 1000, but in an SX body. So I'm a fan of that. I just don't prefer the SX anymore. I'm not really a capacitive jog guy as much as I used to be. But yeah, just depends. Shure Beta 58. That's a good microphone. It's good. It's solid. It's solid. Not the most expensive, but it is a solid microphone. 58's good. The 87 is very good in my opinion. I think the 87 is probably the best overall microphone from Shure. There's others, but yeah, I use an 87 in mine when I'm depending. I mean, I have lots of microphones, but that's the one. I'm about to upgrade to digital because I'm still using the analog, but I'm about to upgrade to the QLX with another Beta 87. I think that's the best all around affordable, even though $1,000 is not affordable, but for microphones, it's like $800 to $1,000. Like that's the norm for a quality microphone system. So I think you're good. Yeah, use an inline booster. Yeah, we're talking about the same thing, Blue Silver, a cloud lifter. Beta 87 for vocals is crispy. Yep, I agree. The only problem with the Beta 87, the only problem is the cardioid pattern because it is very, very directional. So with the 87, you have to be talking into the microphone. If you come over here or come over here, that's when it struggles. So when you have guests that are crappy with the microphone and they bring it down here or they're out here, it doesn't sound as good. You have to turn the gain up. That's the only problem. The 58 has a more open cardioid pattern, so it's very, very it allows for crappier mic holding. But then you also risk more feedback in front of your speakers. You don't really get feedback in front of using the 87 because it is so directional. So to each their own. Okay. Willie D says, I'm using the Prime 4, not a fan of the super slick platters. What can I do about it? Skin it. You can try to skin it. That's that capacitive jog. I'm not a big fan of the capacitive jog too. You can try to skin it. but make sure that you skin it with something that is not going to get more slippery when your hands get sweaty. You know, my buddy used to use my buddy Kid Cut Up, not Kid Cupid, but Kid Cut Up. You probably know him. He DJs. He's on Twitch, but he also does a lot of remixes and edits. So you probably see his stuff like on DJ City and things like that. Anyway, he is Pink's tour DJ. And when he DJs, because it gets so hot, he uses Rain 12s. But he had to put actual like grip on his decks because the Rain 12s are notorious for anytime you get a little hot and your fingers get a little sweaty. I'm not missing the call. It's at 1:15. Anytime your fingers get a little sweaty, they're almost unusable. You know, that was one of my issues with the Rain 1 with excessive shifts in temperature. Excessive shifts in temperature, it just holds on to a lot of condensation, you know, whether it be hot sweat or cold. So that was one of the things that I did notice about the Rain 1. It wasn't in my review because it came later on because it was really cold for us in California, and I noticed I was like, it's just wet. Anyway, DJ Ennis says the Roland DJ 707 is the best mobile DJ controller. Wish Roland can come out with a bigger jog wheel. So I never use the 707, but from what it does, I don't disagree with you. However, I think Roland is done with DJ gear. So I personally could not buy one because I don't buy hardware from people that no longer produce because it's just hard. It's hard to do anything. So, but yes, I do feel spec wise, the 707 is a really good small controller. Okay. All right. I think we're good here. I think we are good here. 505 is very good too. 505 is very good. Let's take a look here real quick. See, this is the only thing good about YouTube versus Twitch. I don't have to think about rating anybody. I can just turn off the thing and then I'm done. So that's my favorite thing. So what's going on? Hope to see you again at DJ Expo. I think I'm going Blue Silver. I think I'm going. As long as, you know, I know it's during the week. I just got to make sure that I'm able to. I just locked in Mex, so I'll be at Mex. Missed your question. Ask it again. Ask it again quickly, Chalice. Really, really quickly. Because I have like 3 minutes, so throw it in the chat quickly. Couple of things. One more time. I got about 100 people watching this stream. I need 100 people to go over to my IG, which is just Cleveland Terry with an underscore, and make sure you're following me there. I'm like 40 away from 10K. 40 away from 10K. So do yourself do me a favor and make sure you follow me on there. Again, the content that's on there is completely different than the content that's on my YouTube. So please, for the love of God, go follow me there. Cleveland Terry with an underscore. That is what it is. All right. I'm just waiting for this question from Chalice, and then we're gonna head off. Couple of more things. Make sure if you are interested in receiving or being eligible for the Mackie Thump system that I'm going to be giving out for free, along with a Mixstream Pro, you have to be following me on IG in order to even get that. The next couple of videos I have before the new year is out is I'm going to end up with 2 more videos. One, I'm going to be doing a speaker shootout between the Mackie DRM, the SRX 818, the SRT, and the Eon. I'm going to be doing a sub shootout there because I know people are asking about that. I have the Flex 4 review that I will hopefully get out, and we are going to do a best reviewed and worst reviewed video probably tomorrow. I'm going to shoot that video. Just on stuff I reviewed, not on stuff that I just heard about. So we're going to do my favorite gear versus, basically winners and losers. So that should be fun. Just waiting on Chalice's comment. Just waiting on that. It probably hasn't updated on my side just yet. Let me go to my other doc and let me just check. Live chat. Yeah, I'm there. Chalice is going to make me try to... Oh, wait. Looks like I have new comments. Okay. I saw CT in the rain for reviewing Christmas clothes. Yeah, Chalice, I can't go back to answer your question. I'm going up. I don't see it. So, unfortunately, yeah, yep, I can't find it. And I'm up like 4 pages now. So it must have been in the early on. So I apologize for not being able to answer your question. But next time, definitely next time. I think we're going to get a Rain 1 MK2. I don't think you're going to get a Rain 1 MK2 anytime soon. I can tell you that much. All right. Anyway, thanks for making great videos. I use them as a sales or referrals, owning music store gear in Curacao. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, look, the bottom line here is that I do this to help people. I do this to kind of, bring more awareness to DJing. And this is something that I do just for fun. As far as like these shows, I mean, I don't really need these shows, but I know they help people. And because they help people, I like to do them. So any way you can support helps me tremendously, whether it be becoming a member, like a couple of guys that have already done this today. Ruben's one of the members. I have a new member today. There's a little membership button at the bottom, or giving super chats. That all helps out. But the free thing is to make sure you're following me on all my socials, because that also supports. So finances are great. I'm never going to complain about finances. It helps me, keep doing what I'm doing here, put new gear, review new gear, all those things. Cause I don't always get every piece of tech out there. Sometimes I got to buy new gear. Sometimes I want to buy something that is, maybe not something that a tech company is going to give me. I'd like to be able to review those. All of your contributions help me do that. So, and you help keep the lights on and the sign on behind me. So, thank you so much for that. Make sure you watch the videos that are coming out. We are at the end of the new year. Next month, January, Capricorn season. That is my birthday. I'm really excited for that. So, it's going to be a good month. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your fine Thursday. And I will see you next week. I will see you. Sorry. Just getting over a cold. I will see you in 2023. Peace out. And thank you, AJ, for the super chat. I appreciate that, homie. Thank you so much.
Oh,